What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be doing a review of this Polyform water buoy, aka the Aqua heavy bag. So stay tuned. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here. I hope everybody's doing well. I know the past couple of weeks have been real difficult for a lot of us, pretty much worldwide. So regardless of whatever country you're in, if you're here in the States, if you're overseas in the UK, Europe, Asia, wherever you may be, I hope you're doing well, taking care of yourself as well as your family and your friends. Just make sure you guys take this COVID-19 seriously, and we'll all get through it together and be better for it. But the reason I'm making this video is because a lot of people are now doing their own home gyms because we're on a lockdown. A lot of people's gyms have closed, so a lot of people are working out. Fortunately, I have my garage that I always train in. Between this and the gym, I obviously go to the gym a lot more frequently, but I've had a heavy bag and my Cobra Reflex bags that I've used to train with. So I wanted to show you guys this Polyform buoy. So basically this is an Aqua bag, and this is what Ringside and a lot of other companies end up doing is they'll get these water buoys and then they'll just rebrand them under their name, but they're the same exact material, construction, and literally half the price. So with shipping from Amazon, I actually purchased on Amazon. This was $75. I got the same size as the Ringside, which is 17 by 23 inches. And when you fill this up with water, it is about 120 pounds. So I got the water bag you can see here, as well as I went to Home Depot, and I'll show you what I got from Home Depot to set this up. I got this Everbilt trailer safety chains with hooks. It's good for up to 1,300 pounds. It's about 1/4 inch, zinc plated by 3 feet in length, and it comes just like this. And then I also got a couple of carabiners right here. This is a stainless one. I got stainless so that it doesn't rust. If you're in an area that has more moisture in the air, you probably want to go with stainless. 540-pound working limit, so way higher than what we're going to be using it for, but you want that durability. This is a 7/16 by 4 3/4, which is the same as I have here. So stainless right here. And then I also have the surface anchor ring. And this is what I'm actually going to mount to the ceiling. If I don't drop it and break it, I'm going to mount this to the ceiling. You can see I already took that off. This is good for up to 3,600 pounds for heavy use. So I'm actually going to anchor that right up there. You can already see where I anchored it before, but I took it down just to show you guys. So I'm going to have that anchored to the ceiling. That's what's going to hold the bag. And then lastly is going to be the garden hose adapter, which is 3/4 and FH by 3/8 in ID. This is going to be what fills up the bag with water. This is a garden hose adapter, so you're going to need some kind of garden hose or something, and then you can screw this tip on there. Once you screw it in, at the very top, you have this little flat tip opening, and this is what you fill the water in with right here. So it's threaded for that, but that garden hose adapter is what's going to be what fills it up with water. So I'm just going to bring my water hose in. So the beauty of having a water bag compared to a standard heavy bag is that you don't have to worry about the shipping, the freight. If you buy a 100, 150, 200 pound heavy bag, you got to pay for the shipping. And that's very expensive, anywhere from $40 to $100 I've seen. Well, the water bag, it's nice because it comes unfilled, it's relatively light, and it's easy for one person to install it because you can hang it by yourself using a ladder and then fill it up with water using the hose. Whereas if you have a 100, 200 pound heavy bag, that's really hard to do for one person to install because you have to have somebody hold it up while you mount it to the ceiling, which can be a pain. So a water bag is really the way to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything installed, hooked up, filled up, and then I'll show you how the water bag looks, how it works, and just the overall setup. And I'll hit the bag and just kind of demonstrate how the bag feels and the pros and cons of having the water bag. So you guys stay tuned. This Polyform bag all hooked up and filled with water. As you can see here that I have this chain that goes right through the hole right here on the top of the bag. You can use a turnbuckle as well that they sell at the hardware store to go through there if you want it to swivel. I just went right through with the chain. And then from there, it's actually mounted to my ceiling where the stud is at. And you can see where it's anchored down. I used 2 lag screws to attach that D-ring anchor. Just make sure again that it's actually screwed into a stud, or if you have concrete, that's good as well. And make sure it's a good length, because you're going to be holding about 120 pounds of weight, and even more so when it starts to swing. The last thing you want is for that thing to just drop out of the ceiling. So make sure you have it secured. And the water is actually filled right here on this port. So all you got to do is use a flat tip screwdriver to unscrew that plastic screw, that plug. Put that garden hose adapter in there, and then just turn the water on to fill it up. You might have to use 2 people, like you and someone else, like a friend or family, to turn the water on. That way the water doesn't spray everywhere. You will get a little bit of water that comes out of here. Maybe just if you're in an area where you can't afford to have water on the floor, get yourself a bucket to catch the extra water. Or if you're in a garage like me, it's not a huge deal. I just ended up getting a broom, and I just sweep the water out, and it just evaporated and dried up. So again, you can see the water bag here is about 120 pounds. You can see the consistency of the bag itself. Again, it's really replicates more of the feeling of a natural body rather than the bounciness of a standard heavy bag. So let's go ahead and do the review. All right, guys, today we have the Polyform water buoy, aka the Aqua training bag. This is a 17 by 23. When it's full of water, it's about 120 pounds. This is the exact same thing that Ringside sells, except Ringside changes the name on it, and then they put a little bit of an upcharge on the cost of it. This Polyform buoy I got from Amazon for about 75 bucks shipped, so much cheaper. Same material, same rubberized type material, same way to fill it up that you would with the Ringside. Tidal also makes it, Rival makes it as well. I have this setup right here with this chain like you guys saw earlier in the video, and I have it mounted all the way up to my ceiling up here, which is mounted into the stud. So like any heavy bag that you have at home, if you do have a garage or something to mount it to, make sure that you're using the proper mounting surfaces. Make sure it's a stud, concrete, something really stable that can hold this amount of weight. Anything that's 100 pounds or higher, obviously you're not going to use drywall anchor or something cheap, because it'll just break right through. Not only from the sitting weight, but from once you start hitting it and landing shots, it's going to vibrate quite a bit. So you want to make sure that it's locked in nicely, drilled right into the stud. You want at least, I'd say, 2 inches for the bolt or the lag screw to go into the wood or the concrete. That way it really grabs and then the bag doesn't fall out. So now you don't have to worry about any issues with durability in the bag from when it swings. Now the big thing with the Aqua bag is how well it absorbs shots. It is a little bit more realistic. It feels more like a human body compared to a traditional heavy bag. So when you're landing shots with this, it feels like you have more of a sinking feeling where your punches go right in, and it's a lot easier on the joints, your elbow, and the tendons in your arm. It's a lot more forgiving rather than the standard heavy bag where you get a little bit more shock from the punch and a little bit more bounce back. So when you're using this, you can use it, you can see the shape of it, it's kind of like a body snatcher bag. You can use it for everything like jabs, your straights and uppercuts, hooks. Especially for uppercuts and hooks, it's really nice because you can really get a lot of leverage into your shots with this. And again, it's really nice on your joints. So you can see here, again, the feel of it is a lot more absorbent than you would with a standard heavy bag because of how it feels when you're making contact with this water bag. You can use head movement, footwork, pretty much anything you can do with a heavy bag or with a teardrop bag, you can do with this. And the other big thing too, compared to the heavy bag, is going to be shipping. So the $75, this thing comes deflated. When you get it in the mail, it comes in this standard size cardboard box. Obviously there's no water in it. And all you have to do is just fill it up at the top using your garden hose with a garden hose adapter to fill this up. So you're saving a lot of money on freight. If you go with a standard 100-pound heavy bag, you're going to be paying sometimes $40, $50, $60, up to $100 for freight shipping because of the size and if it's filled. If you do get a heavy bag that's unfilled, then you have to go through the process of getting like old clothing, sand, and everything to fill up that heavy bag, which can be kind of inconvenient for some people. Not a lot of people just have spare clothing, laying around that they can cut up and throw into a heavy bag. So do keep that in mind if you do go that route. So the water bag is really nice in the fact that it's convenient, it's cheaper to ship, it's good for your joints, and you can get it for relatively pretty cheap compared to a standard heavy bag, and shipping is much cheaper as well. So the main key with this is just to make sure that you mount it properly to whatever surface it is. In my case, I have my garage here, so I usually use the side of my garage to do my workouts. I used to have a black Apollo heavy bag right here, but I switched it out with this one. Just make sure you mount it to the stud. And that's pretty much it for this water bag. I think you guys will definitely enjoy it. Let me know if you guys have any questions or comments. I'll see you guys next time.